We've seen this movie so many times. And
so much better.
Yes.
We're taking time to stop and smell the tulips around here at Breakfast All Day. We're talking about Holland, which has been streaming for a few days now on Prime. So if you have Prime and you turn it on, this is probably the thing that shows up as the thing they want you to watch. Like, here, watch this Nicole Kidman movie. But should they? Let us know. Alonso.
Oh, golly.
This is really super tonight, Nance. Did you do something different?
Brown mustard instead of yellow. I felt like doing something a little crazy.
So yeah, Nicole Kidman stars as Nancy Vandergroot. She is living in Holland, Michigan, and is very committed to the lifestyle there. They have a big Tulip Days event that draws in the tourists. The town is most famous for its giant windmill, and she's committed to the bit. There's a reference to sort of her past life being a bit of a mess, but, you know, now that she is married to Fred, played by Matthew Macfadyen, who is the local optometrist, you know, life is great, and they're raising a kid, and it's young Kenneth Branagh from Belfast, Jude Hill. But nonetheless, there's something nagging at Nancy. She can't quite figure out some things. What's with the Polaroids? Where is Fred really going when he says he's going on these like 2-day ophthalmology junkets? And so she enlists a fellow teacher. She teaches home ec, which they call something else.
Lifestyle, something or other.
Prepared or something, I forget. She teaches home ec, he teaches woodshop. So her fellow teacher, Dave, played by Gael García Bernal, to help her out in sleuthing. And we've seen this movie so many times. And
so much better.
Yes. And we've seen the let's make fun of the eccentric small town with that's very into theming. We've seen the placid exterior of the suburbs with a roiling undercurrent of, you know, twisted blah, blah, blah. You know, I'm thinking back to all of those like early 90s movies that were ripping off Blue Velvet.
Yeah.
And everybody thought they were being so clever to show like, ooh, the suburbs, they're so phony, you know.
So dark.
Yeah. And this movie is so frustrating because everybody involved is capable of so much better, and it's directed by Mimi Cave, who made Fresh, which we liked. I seem to recall the horror movie with Sebastian Stan. But this is so tired. This is just like again with the cutesy small town stuff, and it's like every half-baked David Lynch and Coen Brothers ripoff you can imagine melded into one, with an overqualified cast and a lot of fall caps and wooden shoes.
Yeah. And yeah, it's the Midwest, of course. So there's kind of like oh yeah, you betcha about, you know, not as hard as Fargo, but it's in that same vein of like, oh, look at them with their funny accents, the Midwesterners. Aren't they quaint and cute? So I did not believe a single person in this movie or their motivation or their relationships. Like, none of it makes sense to me. The relationship between Nicole Kidman and Gael García Bernal, not for a second did I believe that they would even be as good of friends as they supposedly are, much less anything else that might develop between them. And a lot of this movie hinges on that. It hinges on people being willing to put themselves in the line for each other in ways that do not even begin to feel earned or believable in any way. Her marriage to Matthew Macfadyen, like, I don't really believe that either. And I guess it's meant to be like, oh, it's convenient for her and it's safe and it is kind of loveless, but like they never gel at all. There's like no nugget of what this might have been at the beginning that might have
that it ever was and now isn't or something. Yeah.
Right. It keeps leading you down what it thinks is a very twisted path. And the place it takes you is pretty damn obvious. Yeah. And not nearly as like spellbinding or tricky as it thinks it is. And so once we get there and the movie is like, see? Like,
you're like,
we've been there for an hour. Like, that's it. Like the thing you think it is what it is.
Yeah, basically.
And nothing more complex than that.
Which is depressing because the writer, Andrew Sodrowski, was a writer on Poker Face.
Love Poker Face.
So, I guess,
Which is clever and twisty.
It's a testament to the writer's room, maybe. But like, yeah, any kind of clever thing, this movie does nothing but zig. Not a single zag to be found. I will say Isaac Krasner, who pops up briefly as a student whose dad is probably abusing him, was in one of my favorite films from last year, an indie called Big Boys. I recommend that people go check that out. He was nominated for a Spirit Award, and won Best Actor at Outfest. But he's given very little to do here, and the leads are also given very little to do here. Rachel Sennott pops up for like one scene, and then we never see her again.
Right, she's very high in the credits.
Yeah.
And she literally has like 2 lines, maybe?
Yeah, it's ridiculous. This movie, you're thinking like, okay, it's so obvious what this movie is trafficking in and the way it's doing it. Surely there's going to be more to it. Surely there's going to be like, we're going to pivot and suddenly find ourselves in unfamiliar territory. No. This movie plants its tulip in familiar and stays in familiar for the entire running time, and it's dreary.
Also, people should be way more severely injured than they are.
Yes.
And they pop up from their injuries.
Yeah, they're all Jason Voorhees.
Right, they're all in ways that are very convenient for the plot and very much depleted of its stakes.
Yeah.
That's what I'm going to say.
That's a fair take.
All right. So I can't think of any more to say. Like, don't see it. Like, it's a waste of everybody here. Everyone's done better work. Nicole Kidman is kind of reverting to like the Stepford Wives territory as far as like, look, I'm wholesome, and she narrates a lot of it too.
Yeah, which is almost always a sign of like, oops, we either the footage isn't working, or we didn't shoot something, or it didn't test well, so we had to come in and explain everything to you. Big letdown, this one. Because when you see who's in it, you immediately think, well, surely it's going to be, at least at this level, and it ain't.
One more thing, they also hint with Gael García Bernal at like a horrible, tragic past that feels very superficial, very like they're just kind of dipping a toe into it. But he never really feels like a real person. No. All his scenes with Nicole Kidman are never for a second believable. There's
a quick reference to the like some people in town being racist against him, but that gets papered over very quickly. Also, this is a small gossipy town, and there's a scene where people are like about to have sex in front of an open window, visible from the street. I'm like, no, you guys would know not to do that thing because Anyway,
I'm gonna say a 2.
Yeah, like a 2.1. I mean, it's don't bother.
Don't bother. Watch literally anything else in any other app on your Roku. Just hit find for me.
Play Roku roulette, and you'll wind up with something better, most likely.